bring into our show my brother, Professor Griff. What's up?
Peace. How you
Peace.
feel? You good?
Very good, brother.
All right.
Very
I ain't got
good.
the beard and mustache yet, but I'm good. I'm growing, man.
Well, I trimmed mine down. I trimmed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Folks, I guess it was about a month ago. I got an email from someone. They said, you're letting yourself go. I said, no, really, I'm not. You know, I'm working out every day. You know, I'm eating healthy. No, it's how you look. I said, okay. You know, I understand. I said, but how I look is what is it? Is in the eyes of the beholder, right? You know, some people think, oh wow, I'm loving that beard, bro. I'm loving that mane. And then you got other people, you know,
Wow.
they got something else to say. But yeah, Griff, you got to go on. You know, just a little bit of shea
Well, I
butter.
tried.
Shea butter.
Did you see it from the side? You know you need to stop lying. You don't even see no beard.
Yes,
I got the
indeed.
close-up view.
Right. So you in town, Griff? And you know,
Yeah.
it's been an interesting year, 2016, and you know, it's you know, it's a good time to kind of recap and figure out then where we go from here. You know, so why don't you kind of give us that? You know, what's the recap? What do we get out of this 2016 year? Where are we going from here, and what are you going to be talking about? You know, when you come to everlasting life on this weekend.
Well, first of all, don't count the days too quick, man. This is not over yet.
You're right.
This is
Right, we
This is
still
only
got over 40
we got to
days,
get
right?
past Thanksgiving.
Thanks taken.
Yeah, we got
Yep.
to get past a few more holidays,
Yep.
and then we got to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on the political scene, simply because there's a swearing in that has to happen January 20th.
Yep.
But I think people, and this is one of the things I'm going to talk about, people are lulled to sleep during this period, and the protests are going to die down. The fanfare is going to stop. People are going to forget what's actually about to happen in 2017. The swearing in, people are going to use that as a vacation, to use that to get out of the house, something to do.
Yep.
There's going to be thousands upon thousands of people on the mall, and CNN, all the alphabet boys are going to cover it, and it's going to lull the people right back to sleep, and they're going to put the political seatbelt on, and try to figure out what's going to happen for 2017, and forget about everything that happened in the last 8 years.
Right.
And yeah, but I think what we need to do is kind of deal with what's at hand right now. What happened over the last 8 years did us a disservice, to the point where we're going to try to, well, the people that are in politics, black people that are in politics, are going to try to maintain what Barack Obama managed to give us, which wasn't a lot.
Right.
But maintaining that with a Republican Senate and
House.
Congress and House, not going to happen.
Right.
It's just absolutely not going to happen. I'm not wishing anyone any bad will, ill will. It's just we have to deal with what the sister was talking about, who sat in the seat before me, talking about eating them potato chips. We just have to be real. You understand what I'm saying? We just can't. We can't look at it as though it's just going to go away.
Right.
Trump is not going to go away.
Right.
They have a plan, but then there's a bigger plan behind and way beyond Donald Trump.
Okay.
So does our what's up with this whole like electoral college? Do our votes even matter?
I think it matters only to people that would like to tote the line, our ancestors died so that we can vote. That may sound good to a 5-year-old or a 6 or 7-year-old, but the reality of it is, no, the votes absolutely don't count, simply because the Electoral College elects the president.
Right.
And if we don't have an education on what the Electoral College is, and for some people that's watching this, it's not a place, people. It's not a physical college. It's an institution. Now, I have to
Right.
say that because people think it's a place that you go to that has a football team.
Right.
No, it's not a place. It's an institution that they've came up with to ensure that they know who's going to get selected to be in the White House.
Right. And you know, the whole political process and believing that we really had a choice this year.
Right.
You know, so the illusion of choice, that you know Hillary was going to be better than Trump, and Trump
Right.
would be better than Hillary. I think for many people, we realized that was an illusion.
Right.
You know, and hopefully the illusion will cause us then to hit the brick wall and then wake up and realize that it's really us. It's on us. It's on us as individuals. It's on us as a household. It's on us as communities to make things better for ourselves. Right. You know, the system that we live up under today is a system that is motivated by not only money, as Heleese had shared with us earlier, but also it's motivated by dominance and control.
Right.
And we have to know that at no point in time, the analogies oftentimes used, that the farmer is never going to give over control of the farm to the pigs, the cows, and the chickens.
Right, exactly.
They ain't never going to raise up and have the farmer have to step down and him going out and grazing in the field. That ain't going to happen. So we have to know then that that's how we're perceived. We're just chickens. We're chickens out here in the field. And until we stand up and come together and organize, you know, an organization is real key. That's some of the things that we did back in the 50s and 60s. We organized, which then allowed us to then have impact on our community. But until we organize, you know, we'll just be individuals out here, you know, in the wind trying to make noise. And of course, they pick us off very easily that way.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting year, and it's going to be an interesting rest of the year and into the next 4 years. And I think the illusion of Obama being having made a positive impact. I think the positive impact that Obama had, which is undoubtedly, you know, a positive thing for the image sake, is that we saw a black man in a leadership position, which oftentimes we don't get a chance to see. Now, it doesn't mean that he was leading us in the best direction, but he was in a leadership position, and it gave us a chance to look up and say, wow, black men can lead. No different than you look at Dak Prescott of the Cowboys, you know, the football team, and you're just, wow, you know, I want the Cowboys to win. Now, I never want the Cowboys. Ever in life have I ever wanted the Cowboys to ever win. But, you know, here it is, they got a black quarterback, and I'm like, yeah, go on, beat them Ravens. You know?
But what happens when that fades? You went from talking about the illusion to the aesthetics of just having a black person in the White House. The whole idea of a black family walking out of the White House with Secret Service men around them. It may do something, once again, to the 5 and 7-year-old.
Yep.
Right.
But we're grown, and we've led before. As a matter of fact, we ruled the planet.
Yep.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Why did that make us so... Why was that the thing to make us so excited and so happy that we have a black person?
Because I don't think people thought that it was even possible for a black person to even lead the greatest country on the planet. Now, we have to keep in mind, great don't mean good.
Right.
And we have to keep that in mind. So if it could be the greatest, but it's probably not the best country. But to lead it in all its wickedness, can you imagine when they cracked open those secret files to Barack Obama, like they're going to do with Trump? Mind you, we're looking at a cat that's about to get sworn in January 20th, and he don't have a clue. Can you imagine filling out a job application and going for the interview, and then you make a mistake and get the daggone job?
Right.
And you don't know what to do? We ain't talking about flipping burgers now. We're talking about ruling a country and running a government. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the campaign you rode on was building a wall and deporting people. Stop that. We need to wake up. Yeah. But there's some ride and die hard black Republicans that I'm going to talk about this Saturday. And we have to be very, very real. Are those people necessarily going to accept the whole idea of us determining our own destiny, even in being inside of this particular country? God forbid if we have our own land that we can call our own, to carve out our own government and control our own destiny. Can we bring those black Republicans and Democrats with us? I'm not sure. Elijah Muhammad said we can't take anything that this country, this man has given us into what we're trying to build.
That's right.
Wow.
It's wicked and core at its core. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And even the best of us and the best minds that black people, this country have produced, I'm talking about black people now, and their educational institutions cannot put together a government that can rule black people. We're way beyond this. We're way beyond this.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I often ask the question, can anyone prove to me that democracy works anywhere on the planet, especially here in America? Some people stepped up to the challenge and made the mistake and said a few places, and I'm like, no, because if democracy works, why would they kill their presidents?
Right.
Why do you kill your leaders? You understand what I'm saying? Why do you undermine just because someone's in a different party? God forbid if we created a third party. You understand what I'm saying? Other than Republicrats and the demons. If we created a third party, it probably would work. But they can't afford that to work because then the people would have a voice.
Right. Right.
And under this government, in this system, the people are supposed to have a voice, but the people are not heard. If you're voting for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, it's two wings of the same damn bird.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
So, this whole political, game that many people are playing, I think another part of it that we don't get is that Barack Obama wasn't really in control. And neither will Trump be in control. He'll be the mouthpiece.
Right.
He'll be the figurehead. He'll be the one who says the speech. I got to say that? Yeah, you're going to say that. And if you don't say that, you know what happened to Kennedy, right? Okay, great. So you're going to need to say what we want you to say.
Right, because Ronald Reagan said it the best because he was an actor.
Yeah.
And it was really easy for him to say. But you see, he stepped out of line and they popped him. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And we have to be very careful of that. And I think that's the fear that Barack Obama was under.
Yeah.
And, Trump already got that class.
Oh, yeah.
This is why he's putting people in his cabinet that will not serve the masses of the people in America.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
Right. Now,
this is why I entitled the lecture The Mental Genocide. We have to deal with these European holidays. That's going to lull us to sleep. Yep. But the lull before the storm is the whole idea of Trump being president. Can you did you process that yet?
It still hasn't really completely resonated with me because I'm just like, yo, what?
Wow.
Right.
The heck is going on? So when you say this is the lull before the storm, what do you think will occur during this storm?
Wow. The actual storm is going to, I said it to someone this morning. The 2017 is going to bring the best and the worst out in all of us. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to show each individual who we really are. Yeah. There was a brother that called me and he started talking about racist white people in rural Alabama. I said, bro, before you moved there, you ain't know that?
Right.
What did history teach us?
Right.
So why did you even move there?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? But that's going to be the mindset in the growing cities.
Sure.
It's going to make progressive white people change their mind about some things.
Yep.
You see, they don't mind when the wind of racism, white supremacy is blowing in their favor. But when it works against them, they're going to drop their black friends in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see it in droves.
Sure.
I'm telling you. Now listen, we have to give a shout out to all of those white people that are out there protesting. And a lot of us are sitting back watching CNN and the rest of the alphabet boys, and we don't even understand why they protesting.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's a signal and a sign and an answer to your question that now the system that's supposed to work for them is now working against the progressive white people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So the black and Asian friends that you thought you had, you now have to have that conversation all over again.
Yep.
Because the hate crimes are on the rise. Did you see when they pulled the sister's headscarf off?
Yep.
And they burned one sister almost to death.
Yep.
Wow.
60% of her body was burned up. And this is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And we have to, listen, if you're not in a self-defense class, you need to get in one. Because you're really truly going to need it. I'm not talking about the little stuff you learned in Girl Scouts.
Right.
You understand? I'm talking about something you might want to learn in MGT class. You understand what I'm saying? Or African-centered martial arts training or something.
Sure.
Or Dragon Academy. You understand what I'm saying?
There we go.
And this is real because you're actually truly going to need it.
Yeah.
And we're going to come face to face with the myth and the notion of racism, white supremacy, because some people don't think it's real. It's going to be brought right to your doorstep, plain and simple.
Well, racism and white people's response to their inferiority is indeed a growing. We see this thing growing. We see this energy growing, but do we understand why it's growing in the sense that these people feel like they are threatened. They already recognize that they're inferior. They feel like they're threatened, so they feel like they need to do this in order to protect themselves now and into the future. So then it makes sense that they would maybe do some of the things that they are doing. I think what doesn't make sense is the crap that we're doing or not doing. So I don't expect a person who believes themselves to be inferior and believes themselves to be on the way out and believes themselves to, be outmanned, and their numbers deteriorating and going in the negative direction. I don't believe that a person should do necessarily anything other than what they're doing, especially after controlling and dominating and oppressing the world. They feel like, the last thing we need is for the people that we've been beating the hell out of to now wake up and then come back to get us.
Yeah, but doctor, they've sat back and watched the same people that have beat down for 400 some odd years attempt to run the country. It didn't do anything for them.
Right.
Now there's one, Donald Trump, speaking out of fear on a subconscious level that's now going to run it. And white people, young progressive whites, do not know how to handle that fear that they saw in their grandfathers, because they saw the results of what their grandfathers preached and teach. They saw the end result. And the end result is doing their friend Leroy or Lamont or Jamal now, who's friends with white people. They saw what it done to their grandparents. They don't want to see that again. Some of them don't mind if it works in their favor, but this time it may not work in their favor. It just may not work in their favor, because there are a lot of people around the globe now, on a global level, that will not tolerate racism, white supremacy being spewed from the president's office, from the White House. And that's just too much for them to bear right now.
Well, I mean, Nixon and Reagan and to some extent probably each and every one of the presidents that we've seen have spewed it. Maybe not as overtly, but it was there.
And that's the key word.
Yeah.
That's the key word, because if Hillary would have gotten in, we would have felt it, we would have saw it, but probably on a subtle kind of level.
Which I think is dangerous.
It's dangerous because her husband played the saxophone and smoked weed.
That's right.
And we suffered ridiculous amounts of hidden racism from him. I'm talking about mass incarcerations, and we can mass incarceration, and we can call the roll on the things that Bill Clinton have done to black people. 4 years of that, just because she's a woman. No, people weren't going for it.
Right.
Trump just it takes down the veil. Like, it's
exactly.
like now you just see what it is that you're getting and what you've been getting for real. But it's just like on a different level now, because it's right in your face, like directly.
Yeah, but even at the end of these 4 years, we can actually turn to some of the people that we are still trying to convince that racism, white supremacy is real, and say, you know something, I told you so. Some of my black friends call me and basically say, aren't you glad that he's in, because now it may force black people to do something? Well, Reagan should have done that.
Right.
Nixon should have done that.
Yeah.
So when are we going to start getting the lesson?
Yeah.
Does it take this to force us to start doing what we? And if you have to be forced to get up off the couch, put the remote down, eat right, exercise, get knowledge of self, come together, put some economics together so we can own some of this land and we can call our own. If you have to be forced to do that, we'll probably get it, but you can't maintain it. It's like that brother that won the lottery or got the football contract and got millions of dollars. You were able to buy the Maserati, but can you maintain it?
Right.
You was able to buy the big house, but can you maintain it? Now you got the girl of your dreams, but now you can't even maintain it. You got the lifestyle that you always wanted, but you can't maintain it, and that's the difficult thing. Can Donald Trump maintain his? I know, thank you, but I do have to get it out because the people that's watching, this high level of fear, because that's all they're reacting from. Let me tell you something, and I don't mean to insult anyone. Them snagger-tooth, straw hat wearing, overall wearing white people that was way in rural, butt scratch Louisiana somewhere, they came out and voted. Didn't even know how to vote, but he brought them out because he spoke to their fear. He spoke to their fear, and they came out and they voted for him.
That fear is a powerful.
Oh no, it is, and it operates on a subconscious level, which most black people don't understand. I tell people, you run up on somebody dealing with martial arts, if you run up on somebody that has fear of you, they're liable to do anything. They'll pick up a gun that they don't even know how to shoot and end up shooting you out of fear. And we have to understand, a fearful demon is the worst one that we could ever deal with.
So, Griff, you're going to be speaking this weekend, and that's November the 20. What's the
6th?
November the 26th, 2016.
Because Thanksgiving is the 24th.
Because Thanksgiving.
Right.
It's the 24th.
Right.
Okay, so give us a snapshot. What is our audience going to get in that presentation?
Of course, I am going to give reverence and credence and honor and respect to our ancestor, Ishaka Musa Barishango, Dr. Ishaka Musa Barishango, who gave us mental genocide in European holidays. And then we're going to dive into the whole idea of why we lend our spirit and energy and connect them to these holidays to keep us celebrating the same people that have got us in this condition that we're in today. So a snapshot of it, we have to talk about the major holidays and what they really mean. And then how do we break away from these holidays? And then what can we bring to the table to celebrate our own holidays?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a snapshot of what I'm going to be talking about. But we have to talk about what this particular period of time in reference to these 4 months, what does it mean? October, November, December, and then beginning a new year with the holiday on the first day of the year, meaning bringing that Kundalini energy back down. Now, in every celebration in every city on the first, we celebrating the Kundalini energy coming back down. The ball has to drop, the apple have to drop, all the energy has to drop back down in every major city, and there's actually a countdown for that energy to drop back down to the lower energy centers. So we have to deal with some metaphysics on Saturday, and we have to talk about how does that play a part in our energy and our energy level going into our so-called new year, because it's not a new year.
Right.
They moved the new year from April 1st, which it should have been, because everything changes April 1st, but they call that April Fool's Day. But they moved it from April 1st to January 1st for commercial reasons, because they wanted to line the holidays up. They keep you spending your money. But we have to talk about that, and we will talk about that.
Great. That's November 26th here at Everlasting Life in Capitol Heights, Maryland. And we can reach out through email address, right? To get
No, they can call me directly, 678-557-2919, which Baruch, I was hoping Baruch would have done this morning, but I was in my martial arts mode, doing some Wing Chun and some other stuff.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm focusing on finishing my book, Symbology. So I was in a different mode, and I apologize for being tired. A military man should never be late.
There you go. What's
Seriously.
that number again?
678-557-2919.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Again, it's a very interesting season that we're in, and you talked about the lull before Trump. What is your direction? What is your advice for people of color? We know what we can see the hand of the adversary. We can see the hand of the, if you want to call it, the oppressor. We see that energy,
right?
But we're here at Elif Media today on the Not on My Watch show, interviewing none other than Professor Griff of Public Enemy and so much more than that since Public Enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to now get some idea, and I don't want to give away the lecture, but give some idea to our people. What do we do now, brother? What do we need to do?
People are distraught over this.
With what our ancestors left us, I don't know why we distraught.
It's true.
He ran a campaign
people
of
are going to counseling and crying.
counseling
Yeah.
for what?
I'm
he
trying
already told us what he was
I'm
going to
trying
do.
understand it as well.
If the bully is moving on you after the last class in fourth grade, and the bully has been telling you every period during the course of the day what he's going to do to you, why should you go to counseling at the end of the day? No, you knuckle up and you fight back.
Right.
On every single level.
Right.
But before we do that, I think we need to take a look at what all the other people are doing in America.
Okay.
They have an agenda. Where's our black agenda?
Right.
Where's our black African holistic agenda? So no, we need to put in place a black agenda, and we need to follow through. Other people, Jewish people, Italian people, Irish people, they're not worried about who the president is.
Right.
The president is just a seat. He just runs his mouth. He's the mouthpiece.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But if we put something, a plan of action in place and follow through and support one another, we shouldn't care who the president is.
Right.
Plain and simple. I think these Negroes that we're talking about are worried about whether or not they're going to keep their jobs.
Right.
Yeah, and that could be a fear. But those of us that have been entrepreneurs, that do for self, that connect with one another, and we look outside of this country and outside of the self to connect with self. Right. We're not worried about what going to come from the mouth and from the presidency of Donald Trump. Trump, excuse me. Sorry about that. That was a Freudian slip.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would that agenda consist of? Like, what is the most pressing issue for black people right now?
Sister. Did not Amos Wilson give it to us? He gave us a book, almost 1,000 pages, called The Blueprint for Black Power. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Elijah Muhammad gave us the book, then turned around and showed us. Okay. Noble Drew Ali showed us. Marcus Mosiah Garvey showed us. All we have to do is have those study groups that you and I have been talking about, to sit down and take what they've given us, take it off the shelf, blow the dust off it, and make it applicable to our lives. Guess what? I think Donald Trump is going to force us to do that.
I hope so.
He's going to force us to do that.
Yeah, I hope that's what it is. And I hope that we don't just, if you get into a fight, Griff, there's some people who just decide, okay, I just want to survive. So they just crunch down. They ball themselves up.
Rodney King.
Take as much, cover up as much as they can. And I don't think that that's the season that we're in right now. I think the season right now is that we use this time to use him and his agenda as a catalyst to wake us up and say, okay, now it's time for us to rebuild Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now it's time for us to and I don't mean the physical location. I mean the agenda of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We need to now rebuild and create our own institutions of learning and higher learning, and not the continued indoctrination that these systems have been taking our people through. I think you and I both know we need to change what it is that we're putting into our body, not only through what we eat, but what we listen to and what we look at and who we engage. We need to start checking our friends, because some of us need to let go of some of the folk that hanging around us, because what they say, your 10 closest friends kind of let everybody know where your head is at, so
wow, we got God is my friend,
my
homie. But we do have to understand that the physical plane is the lowest. Some people think we need to loke up and join gun clubs and whatever suits you, do your thing. But if this ain't right, gun ain't gonna help you.
That's right.
If your diet ain't right, a gun ain't gonna help you. And trust and belief, it's just not gonna help you.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those things, but my challenge with that is the guy who made the gun is on the other side. The guy who made the bullets is on the other side. So at some point, you might get you a few, but he made the gun and the bullets. That just doesn't seem like a good foundation for us to use to attack somebody. You're gonna attack the guy that's making the guns and making the bullets and thinking you're gonna outgun him. I don't know.
But I think we're going into it. We kind of need to change our approach.
Okay, talk to me.
We're going to approach the whole idea of everything coming from the White House in a reactionary kind of vibe. When we shouldn't. We have to be proactive. If we keep responding, like there's a brother that just got shot in Brooklyn, we know the routine. We're going to respond. We're going to yell out. We're going to take to the streets. We're going to protest. They're going to pick certain people to be on scene in the bobbleheads. They're going to speak to the masses of the people. They're going to get an attorney, one that we already know who's coming. They're going to kind of say the same thing. They're going to offer the parents and the relatives some money. They're going to take the payoff, bury their son, or bury their daughter. They're going to turn around. They're going to have the fanfare. It's going to die down after a minute until the next one gets shot. And we're going to do it all over again, over and over and over. No, let's not respond to what's going on in the White House in the way that they want us to respond. We have to change that particular dynamic. Can you imagine if 4 million people just decided to get together and just have a meeting on January 20th?
Right.
And we decided what we're going to do from the time he's sworn into office forward.
Yeah.
And just not respond the way they want us to respond.
Right.
I think that'll be a beautiful, at least it'll send a different kind of signal to let them know the way we used to respond over the last 8 years, we're not going to respond that way. Sad but true, we've lost more people under Barack Obama. Locally and globally.
Yeah. They've
written him off as the drone warrior. They've written him off as the first Jewish president. They've written him off as the first gay president. All of these things they attach to Barack Obama because they want to kill his legacy. Not in the history books. They want to kill his legacy in the hearts and minds of young people that believed in the whole idea that I could become president.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to destroy.
Yeah.
And if our people don't use this particular period of time to do it exactly what Dr. Baruch just said, we have to take control of this. Our story needs to be told to us by us.
Right.
Right.
And if we're not the ones telling the story, we're going to get the same kind of madness when our children look back on this period.
Yeah.
This is why it's imperative that we do the lectures and we have the radio talk shows and this kind of thing, because we have to make history. And I always teach people, and I'm going to go over it this Saturday, that we write history in advance.
Sure.
And the simple example that I give is the simple fact that you have a daily or weekly calendar that you kind of write out.
Yes.
You know what you're going to be doing next Thursday?
I haven't worked on it.
You haven't worked on it? So once you work on it, you're going to write in what you're going to do.
Yep.
That's going to be your history, not your future, because you already know what you're going to do.
Okay.
So you're actually writing history in advance. All you have to do is carry it out. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Since you already know why can't a group of us get together and do that? Why can't we say, okay, this year, next time, this is what we're going to be doing, and actually walk through those steps to make those things happen.
Yeah.
You do it on an individual level.
Right.
Now we need to get into what Erykah Badu talked about as far as groupthink. Not in a negative way.
Right.
We need to do some groupthink for real.
Yeah, we definitely need a think tank.
Exactly.
We need a think tank, and we need a think tank of people that already have demonstrated some level of accomplishment with regard to, engaging this thing, and not just, somebody who's intelligent who's been indoctrinated by this thing, because that then...
Yeah, but some of the brilliant minds that are there on CNN, they're not thinking in terms of black progress, but they scared to say black, first of all. We're everything but black. But Marcus Garvey said race first. If you have to say it, let's act like it. You understand? If you don't want to wear the button or wear the dashiki or the T-shirt or the bumper sticker, hell, just act like it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Plain everyone else does it.
Right.
You think Donald Trump is not saying race first?
Right.
Even on a subconscious level?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all innately are race people. I'm going to look out for maybe not everybody, but I'm going to look out for my family first. And that's no disrespect to anybody else, but I'm going to look out for my family. If it came down to it, the house is on fire, I'm going to look out for my family.
But it's not disrespectful to anyone else, because everyone else that's listening to us can readily identify with that, because that's what they do. They may not want it said over the airways so everybody can hear it, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And I think that's what we need to do more of.
Exactly.
And I don't think that there's a problem with them doing it, because you do your thing to protect yourself, your bloodline, and who you are, and what you're trying to keep alive, your culture and social dynamics. And I think we just need to do the same for ourselves.
But the mere fact that they're participating in a thriving culture speaks to the fact that they're saying race first.
Oh, yeah.
They walk through aspects of their culture to keep their culture intact.
Yep.
So when they leave here, the culture will be intact for their children.
Yep.
Which signifies and symbolizes race first.
Yep. Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I really appreciate you inviting me through.
Great.
I'm gonna go next door and get me some grub. You know what I'm saying? Something healthy.
Give us a recap one more time, Griff, as we talk about what's taking place this weekend. What can people expect? And this again is November 26, 2016. Professor Griff right here at Everlasting Life, speaking on what it is that we need to do, what's going on, uncovering the truths and the lies, and giving us direction as to where we need to go. Give us a snapshot.
From the time I'm introduced, I'm going to talk about our mental capacity to see ourselves through these next 3 months, and then challenge us, not just the intellect, not just the mental aspect. It's hard for me to challenge people physically that day, but I'm going to put it out there so we can challenge ourselves in the 9 areas of people activity that Dr. Francis Cress Welsing gave us. And not only that, we have to talk about our mental capacity, our mental state. Then we have to talk about genocide. Then we have to talk about whether or not if what we're participating in, meaning someone else's culture, because Thanksgiving is not ours.
Right.
No, sir.
And then if we, at the end of the day, if we have to apologize to the Native Americans for keeping this madness going, because they are watching.
Yep.
At the same time, we're going to have the lecture. Something is going down at Standing Rock. You understand what I'm saying? Where they're fighting for sacred land. Well, what happened to our sacred land?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's 196,940,000 square miles of this. You mean to tell me we can't take some of this that we can call our own?
Right.
That's sacred to us? Everyone on the planet has sacred land. Where's our sacred land? But we need to talk about that. But we need to get the European holidays out of the way first. You understand what I'm saying? And then we need to determine whether or not they are holidays or holy days. Mm-hmm. There is a difference. When you go stay at the Holiday Inn, that ain't holy.
Right.
Some of that stuff that go on the weekend. Would you agree, sis? Would you agree? That ain't holy.
Right.
Now, how do we get tricked with the English language to turn holly into holy?
Right.
Or holy into holly.
Right.
Holy is something that has not been mixed, diluted, or tampered with.
Right.
You can't say that about Holiday Inn or holidays.
Right.
These are not our holidays.
Right.
They're not sacred to us. So we need to kind of dive into Barry Shango's work and talk about the holidays. But that's a snapshot.
There you go.
And then we're going to finish it off by talking about what Donald Trump is going to bring. There's a list of things that I think he's going to bring, and I'm going to lay them out.
Great. Again, this is the Elif Media Network, and we've got Brother Professor Griff on board with us today. We're very thankful that you could come in the studio and share with us.
Thanks.
Please do, don't be a stranger, come on through, keep us in the loop, Again, I told you need to be a regular, we need
I made you that promise, and I'm going to be a regular. I just got to finish this book. It's killing me.
There we go.
No, it's a beautiful thing, because it's challenging me.
Great.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I'll finish a chapter, then I'll go outside, and I'll see the Goodyear sign like I'm looking at now. And I'm like, he got the wings on the shoe. Like, what does that actually mean?
Right.
Now, I got to be able to decode that because we see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? On a subconscious level, it affects our energy centers.
Yeah.
So when I leave here, I'm going to break down the Goodyear symbol and put it in book. But that's what happens to me, man, for real.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right, Heleese, let's take us home.
All right, thank you all for tuning in. This has been another wonderful episode or show with Not On My Watch, Dr. Baruch and Sister Heleese. Thank you to both of our guests today, Ms. Sheila Jackson and Professor Griff. It's been a pleasure. We appreciate having you all on.
Give thanks.
Great.
All right, peace.
We're out.